So Honkai Impact and Honkai Star Rail decided to ask, what if we just animated whatever we wanted? So they took two of the most unhinged, powerful characters from both games and bashed them together like a form of modern action figures. And this crossover animation they made is exactly what I, as a professional animator, will be grading today. Will it pass or will it fail? Let's find out. Whoa. Interesting. Different studio than usual. Kaleidoscope stuff. Whoa. This is giving me like heavy Arknights vibes, so I think it's actually probably a similar studio that does it. This should have a trail. It'd be so much nicer if this just had like a trail here. Just a recommendation. Whoa. She jumps off her sword. Oh, and she picks it up. That's cool. Again, we're missing a little bit of a trail right here. This could use a bit, just like an effect for the slash. I don't know if this is meant to be a slash, but it's missing like an arc. Small nitpicks though, because they clearly went hard on the effects elsewhere. That's cool animation. Was that Tanjiro? What the hell? Oh, this part here, I wasn't super satisfied with. This is because I feel like they should have not touched the edge. This is taking away a lot of the energy flow for this particular anticipation. Like if you wanted to have more anticipation here, you could actually, what would be really cool is if you actually took it out of the border here. Like if you just like pulled it out and like let it exist in that space during the anticipation, it would feel really good. But instead they kind of blocked it and there's like, it kind of cut off the energy of this anticipation pose. Alternatively, you just put it here. Like this would feel fine. Damn! She's bug-eyed at the moment. The effects are cool. Whee! Whoa, 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 did you guys see that? Hang on. I noticed an error. Look at this. Behold. Look at the cloth, guys. Somebody left like a stray keyframe in there. That cloth is not supposed to go up that high so quickly. It just like glitches. It's like boop, 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 whoop. Like a little mermaid tail and then stops moving. All the momentum's gone. Oh, whoa, wiggle wobble. Dude, that's so pretty. Oh, I don't know why I really like this shot. I think it's because they got like great composition, a good vignette, fantastic contrast between the foreground and the background. You can see the background is like quite bright in color. If you actually go into black and white mode, you can see like how clearly it shows up. The eyes are bug-eyed. That's a modeling issue, but composition wise, this looks really good. Whoa, that's cool. Oh, okay. Oh, I love the effects. Damn, dude, what the hell? That shot was like Studio Orange or something. The reason why the shot feels so good is because it's taking advantage of Z depth. So it's going towards camera and it's also got beautiful arcs. Wow, the camera is going crazy on that one. Oh, no, sorry, that caught me off guard. That caught me off guard. Let's just rewind that. It's so good. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Whoa! Yes, I love that. Oh my god. This is nice because like, you're coming at the camera. Notice the camera shake. This is why it feels so good. Not everybody notices this, but camera shake adds a whole hell of a lot. And it's very, very, very intentional. So if you actually look at this, there's no camera shake for any of these frames at the beginning of the shot. It's not just a rumble effect. It's not just a ubiquitous boom, 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 boom. But the camera shake starts specifically when the cog passes past camera. You see how that shakes a little bit? Now this shakes a little bit. It shakes even more the closer it gets. So the camera shake actually represents the airflow of the air around the object that's passing by. Very, very cool. All 2D effects there. Wait a minute. Shane animated a shot exactly like this in Ruby Volume 3 in Chapter 12 in the fight Pyrrha vs. Cinder. It was cogs all being smashed into one person. I'm not saying he copied him or anything, but he did it first though. Damn. Okay, that does look cooler than what Shane did. Sorry, Shane. This is a really cool technique where you have the aftermath just be like a still frame. Honestly, really, really pretty. Like, this is great. Like, they were able to get a lot of detail in this. And honestly, I would say it's a really good way to show scale as well. Because when you're really far away from something really, really big, you just can't see it move that much. Like, think of like an airplane in the sky. It barely looks like it's moving. In actuality, it's moving quite fast and it's also quite big. But this is a good example of like viewing something far away that also is quite large in scale. It gives that sense of proportion pretty well. Whoa. I don't know if I like how this mask was removed. Notice how there's absolutely zero weight. Just sort of boop, sticks, boop, and then moves. The fingers don't have any grip. The hand doesn't have any delay, and it just sort of like flies off. This is very common when you have essentially just a dynamic parent switch. So you have the thing as parent to the head, and then you like the hand comes up to approximately the right spot, and then it switches parents, and then it starts following the hand. It is functionally correct, but from an animation perspective, you need to have a little bit of time putting the hand on the mask and making the grip realistic. How many times have you ever just like swiped and just like your mask like sticks to your hand? It doesn't work that way. You have to really adjust your grip and then pull it off. So just to be clear, are both of these girls just like crazy reality bending, teleporting, mask wearing, mischievous girls? Is that what it is? Sparkle manipulates illusions. Vita has god level powers. Okay, seems a little imbalanced. Fair enough. Whoa. Whoa. God damn. Is that a mecha? Is that multiple mecha? Is that Sparkle's mecha? What? Yo! Oh my god, dude. What's really cool is that they designed this environment almost specifically for this fight. It is what I would call like a 3D volume. It has so much freedom in terms of where you can move and still feel like there's motion. These floating cogs give a sense of location while still moving through space. So like the camera pan and everything feels dynamic because like you can see the detail. It's not like a black void. Not only that, you also get a weave in and out of things. So like you have this really, really dynamic shot here where you're just like, boom, 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 stuff's passing by camera because the cogs are everywhere and it feels like a 3D volume. This is a really common technique for getting 3D animated fight scenes to feel really dynamic. Just put them in a 3D volume, an environment that has a lot of floating objects, a lot of things that they can move around and weave between and dodge and like move past camera. It feels exactly like a solar system, but designed with gears instead of asteroids. That's true. That's also true. Yo, I can't take this, dude. This is insane. Holy shit, the show is so cool. She's so unbothered by this. Like, how gorgeous is that shot? Doesn't even look at the explosion. I do kind of wish they like darkened her a little bit. Like, she should be darker. Yeah, it's fine. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude, the effects are so pretty. I'm sorry, this is too much for me. Ah! This is an Itano circus. This is not a stereotypical Itano circus. This is cool. It's like a more futuristic. It's got this really speedy like follow through, like these arcs that converge here instead of like around the screen. They like go into a single point and then disappear. What? Oh my god. Oh yeah, I just love shots like this, honestly. I just love like when you get to see inside the mech and then you just see like them go like yeet, as if piloting a mech was that easy. It's just so satisfying though. Like she pushed it like really hard. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, that's just straight up Gurren Lagann. I don't care what you guys, that's gotta be Gurren Lagann. Oh, it's so pretty, dude. Oh, it's so, this is insanity. Dude, this is actually a really cool thing that they did here. Did they shake? What? Fascinating. They're actually shaking the camera and the arm. So the arm looks like it's being pulled up by like a gear or like a cog. Like it feels like it's winding up for something. And then the camera's also shaking as like a result of like just the sheer size of the mecha. That's such a cool effect. It's really subtle, but you can hear it in the sound effects as well to amplify that. And in doing so, what does that do, class? It adds anticipation. Yeah, it feels super heavy. Exactly. This is the first time you've heard anything struggle with lifting an arm. What the? When did they both get mechs? Like, oh my god. Okay. Holy shit. Okay. Okay. Oh, dude, what the? This shot is just what? Oh my god, impact frames too, bro. Like, what the fuck? This is a really interesting attention to detail. Take a look at this. So she's shooting giant laser. Did you guys notice that it's melting the environment around it just from being too close? Like, that's how hot this laser beam thing is. I want to shake the guy who modeled those mechas. Yeah, me too. I also want to shake them and their hand. What? And they're just getting burgers afterwards? Like, what the? I like how they completely destroy universe and they break reality, and then they decide, you know what? We're also going to break road rules. We're just going to break the law and drive on both sides of the road simultaneously. It's because the road divider separates their games. That's true. That's fair, actually. Interestingly enough, they have cast shadows on their models. So this is a real cast shadows. This is different than what we do, which is screen space cast shadows. We have like a duplicate mesh essentially that draws shadows onto the color beneath it. This is real cast shadows. Now, I don't always agree with this. This is like an interesting technique where it breaks down, like it works really well for real life things, obviously. But when you're doing like 2D, 3D stuff, like nobody ever draws cast shadows accurate to reality. Typically, most people don't fully understand how cast shadows work. And I'm saying this with like the utmost respect. It's like a difficult concept to wrap your head around. If you guys have ever seen shadow art, it's really, really trippy. Like you just like, people are like, what, wait, what? How did you take this pile of trash and make this absolutely gorgeous piece of art? The reason being is because our brain has a difficult time converting 3D meshes into 2D from a certain angle without being able to look at it from that specific angle. This is basically a conversion of like 3D to 2D, but then on top of that, also being cast onto a 3D mesh. So it's not even like a flat wall with like a shadow on it. It is a curved wall with a shadow on it. You can imagine how difficult that is for the mind to sort of just like know as an artist. So we usually avoid that. So what ends up happening is like you just get something like very simple, like you just kind of copy it and like do that, which is what we do in our models. Anyway, just a small thing. I think it's worth mentioning. Oh my god, dude. Holy shit. Okay, let's talk about this pose. First of all, there's a gap between her finger and the gun, I'm pretty sure. Like, she's not grabbing the gun. The gun's floating a little bit. That can happen a lot, just especially with like complex gun models. I wasn't super impressed with this pose in particular. I think it's because the shoulders. So the shoulders here have basically zero animation on them. And by animation, I mean like the shoulders have not been posed. They're very relaxed. And so what should be a pretty tense pose doesn't have any tension at all. What I would recommend doing instead is probably something like this. Everything's basically the same. If you lift it up like here, you'll see that it feels a lot more sort of like, and then there you go. Like this would be a better pose, which by the way, generally speaking, when you raise your arm, your shoulder's gonna go up anyway around that level. This one's fine, but you see how the silhouette's not very clear here? The hair is a little messy, that's fine. Because she has like these like frills, it becomes hard to like read her arm relative to the shoulder. Again, no shoulder at all. The shoulder could be up here and it would be more readable. This is fine, but like I would probably just like move it a little bit. A higher shoulder here would make a big difference. Like a big difference in my opinion. That already feels a lot better. Look at that. Just look at that. Look how much better that feels. So if you can, I do recommend it. One of the best things you can do to improve your poses is just to add some texture to the shoulders. Make sure it makes sense, obviously. Look, the shoulders. This is such a better pose. Like this is already really good. This is a great pose. Much better than the previous one. This one, where's the steering wheel? Why is the steering wheel over here? The steering wheel should be over here. But yeah, I feel like this could be so much more interesting. You could have this up here just a little bit more, although it's pretty close. It's better. But this one, I almost wonder if it's like, it should just be like this because they're leaning into this like straight arm pose. If you're going to lean to the straight arm pose, just let it take on some weight. If it takes on a little bit of weight, you raise the shoulder and it just feels better because that's kind of how like hips work when you walk, right? It's pretty good. I'd say that feels better. So do they pass or do they fail? Well, what grade would I, the professor, give them? Honestly, probably an A+. It could have been an S+ if they just addressed the shoulders and the bug-eyed models and tweaked some animation errors. But overall, they do so many good things. I mean, an A+ is still a perfect score in a normal world. They just didn't get the extra credit. But this isn't the only thing I'll be grading as an animation professor. Next time, we'll have some more Honkai cinematics, some ZZZ stuff coming up soon. We got Woo-Wah. We got a lot of stuff. So subscribe if you want to see those. And you can check out this video where I also talk about amazing animation. And I'll see you guys in the next one.